when Allah decides to bless you, He often does so through the people He places in your life. These people aren't just coincidental encounters. They are part of a divine plan, bringing guidance, support, and lessons that shape who you become. Have you ever wondered why certain individuals are drawn to you, seemingly at the right moment, during times of struggle or triumph? It's not by chance. The people around you hold a profound role in your growth, whether they challenge you, guide you, or simply stand by your side. In Islam, we learn that the company we keep is essential to our spiritual and personal journey. The Prophet Muhammad said, "A person is upon the religion of his close friend, so let one of you look at whom he befriends." This hadith serves as a reminder of how deeply others influence our path. Allah doesn't just bless us with good things. He also brings people into our lives who will help us realize those blessings. They might offer us motivation when we feel lost, or they might share wisdom that helps us see life from a different perspective. But the blessings from Allah don't always come in the form we expect. Some people may appear in your life only for a season, while others stay longer. You may even encounter people who challenge you, test your patience, or stir emotions you'd rather avoid. Yet, all of these relationships serve a purpose. In times of hardship, we might wonder if certain relationships are worth keeping, especially when they seem difficult or unfulfilling. But Allah knows what's best for us, and the people He places in our lives are never random. They are there for a reason. In the Quran, Allah speaks about His power to shape our destinies in the most intricate ways. He says, "And it is He who created from water a human being and made him a relative by lineage and marriage. And your Lord is competent concerning creation." Quran 25-54. This verse reminds us that everything, even our relationships, is part of Allah's plan. The people who come into our lives are often those who will help us unlock potential within ourselves that we didn't even know existed. When you look at your relationships, think about how they've impacted your journey. Perhaps there are people who have stayed by your side during tough times, offering advice, encouragement, or simply their presence. Maybe you've been influenced by someone whose faith and character pushed you closer to Allah. These individuals might not always be perfect, but they are instrumental in helping you fulfill your purpose. If you look closely, you'll see that Allah has strategically placed them on your path to guide you, to show you a better version of yourself, and to help you grow in ways you could never have imagined on your own. It's easy to take these people for granted, especially when life gets busy or we're caught up in the distractions of this world. But remember, every person who enters your life has a role to play in your spiritual and personal development. The Quran says, "And we have created you in pairs." Quran 78-8, emphasizing the importance of relationships in shaping our destiny. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, brings the right people into our lives when we need them the most. Whether they are with us for a short time or for years, their influence can leave a lasting mark. Reflect on the relationships you have now. Are there people who motivate you, challenge you, or encourage you to become the person Allah created you to be? These individuals are part of your divine blessing, and they should be cherished. The love, support, and guidance they offer are gifts from Allah, so never underestimate the impact they have on your journey. When we ask Allah for something, we often envision a direct answer in the form of what we want. Yet, Allah's wisdom surpasses our understanding, and He may not always give us what we ask for in the way we expect. Instead, He often works through people, sending them into our lives to guide us toward what we truly need. The Quran reminds us that Allah's plans are greater than ours, stating, "But perhaps you hate something, and it is good for you. Or perhaps you love something, and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you do not know." Quran 2:16. This verse is a reminder that our perspective is limited, and Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows what is best for us. Allah's plan for us may not be immediately obvious, and the people He places in our lives may appear at first to be unimportant or even challenging. Yet, they carry a purpose that we may not fully understand at the moment. We must trust that these individuals are not just coincidences, but are part of Allah's divine plan. Sometimes, when we ask Allah for guidance or success, He answers our prayers by bringing people into our lives who will teach us the lessons we need to learn, prepare us for the future, and even help us fulfill our purpose. In the Quran, Allah tells us, "And we have made some of you people as a trial for others. Will you have patience?" Quran 25-20. This verse emphasizes the reality that we are tested through our relationships. The people around us are not just there by chance. They are part of Allah's intricate design to refine our hearts, challenge our weaknesses, and build our patience. When we pray for something, we must understand that Allah's response may come in a way that requires us to grow. The people He sends into our lives can either help us rise to the occasion or lead us to reflect on our actions and intentions. Consider the relationships you have in your life today. Perhaps you have encountered individuals who challenge your patience or force you to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself. While these relationships may not always feel like blessings, they are part of the divine process Allah uses to help us develop into the people we are meant to be. When you pray for success, know that it may not come in the form you expect. Allah may send someone into your life who will teach you the skills you need or show you a path you hadn't considered before. This person might not seem like a direct answer to your prayers, but in reality, they are helping you fulfill what you've asked for in ways you hadn't anticipated. Another key point to remember is that Allah's timing is perfect. We may feel impatient when things don't happen as quickly as we want, or when our desires aren't immediately fulfilled. But Allah knows the right time for everything. He knows when we are ready for certain blessings, and He also knows when we need to learn something before receiving what we have asked for. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Be mindful of Allah, and He will protect you. Be mindful of Allah, and you will find Him in front of you." Tirmidhi. This hadith highlights the importance of trusting Allah's plan and timing. When we ask Allah for something, whether it's success in this world or the hereafter, we must remember that Allah answers in the way that is best for us. Sometimes this means receiving guidance through people who come into our lives unexpectedly. These individuals may be the ones who help us learn, grow, and achieve our goals. It is important to recognize the blessings they bring, even if they don't seem like what we envisioned. Allah's plan is always better than our own, and through the people He places around us, He leads us toward a future we may not yet see. Trust in His wisdom, and know that everything happens for a reason, even if we can't fully understand it at the time. There are moments in life when we are faced with difficult decisions, especially when it comes to relationships. Whether it's a friendship, a marriage, or even a professional connection, there are times when we might feel the need to let go, to move on. Yet, in those very moments, Allah may be trying to guide us in a different direction. The signs from Allah are often subtle, but they are there. We must learn to recognize them, especially when we are unsure whether to stay or move on. In these times of uncertainty, we must turn to Allah for guidance and trust that He knows what is best for us. Allah speaks to us in many ways, and sometimes His messages come through the thoughts and feelings we experience about the people in our lives. Have you ever found yourself thinking constantly about a person, even when you try to distance yourself? Perhaps you've had moments when you wanted to move on from someone, but something inside you kept pulling you back. This feeling is not mere coincidence. It is a sign that Allah is telling you to stay. The thoughts and emotions you experience are not just random. They are a form of guidance from Allah. When Allah doesn't want us to let go of someone, He will place that person in our thoughts, making it nearly impossible to forget about them. At times, we might even feel torn between what others are telling us and what our hearts are feeling. Friends and family may encourage us to move on, to cut ties with someone who has hurt us or disappointed us. Yet, if Allah has placed that person in our life for a reason, He will make it known to us through signs and inner peace. It's crucial not to rush into decisions when we are emotionally charged. Instead, we must wait for Allah's guidance. He might not give us an immediate answer, but He will send us subtle signs to help us understand what we should do. These signs could come in the form of peace in your heart when you think about the person, or the sudden realization that they are still an essential part of your life's journey. The Quran reminds us that Allah's will for us is always for our best. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and a loss of wealth, and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient. Quran 2:155. The test of patience is one of the most important ways Allah refines us. When you are uncertain about whether to continue in a relationship, remember that Allah's wisdom is far greater than your understanding. If He wants you to stay in the relationship, He will make the path clear. Even if things aren't going well at the moment, Allah's timing and His plan for you are beyond what you can comprehend. Sometimes Allah places people in our lives not just for companionship, but for a higher purpose. The relationship might be challenging, but that challenge can lead to growth, both spiritually and personally. It's essential to recognize that Allah's plan for us may involve difficult times with people who are meant to refine us. Just as gold is refined through fire, relationships can test our patience, faith, and character. The people in your life are not merely there to comfort you. They are there to help you become the person Allah has destined you to be. When you find yourself questioning whether to let go of someone, ask yourself this: is this a person who brings you closer to Allah? Do they encourage you to be better, to grow spiritually, to fulfill your purpose? If the answer is yes, then perhaps the relationship is worth preserving. Despite the challenges you face, in these moments of doubt, seek Allah's guidance through prayer, and trust that He will guide you through the signs. The signs Allah sends are often not immediate or loud. They are subtle, woven into your daily thoughts, feelings, and actions. Learn to recognize these signs, for they will guide you toward the right decision. Ultimately, the key to understanding whether to stay or let go is to trust in Allah's wisdom and timing. He will guide you to the right decision, whether it's to hold on or to let go. But this decision should never be made hastily or emotionally. Wait for Allah's signs, and trust that His plan for you is always greater than your own. Reflect on the relationship. Seek Allah's guidance through prayer, and trust that Allah's will is always in your best interest, even if it doesn't align with your own expectations. There are moments when you will realize that the people in your life are more than just companions. They are the key to your personal and spiritual growth. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, places certain individuals in our path, not just for companionship, but to provide us with blessings and opportunities for growth that we might otherwise overlook. These people bring a sense of liberty and freedom into our lives, a privilege that we might not recognize until it is taken away. Reflect for a moment. Have you ever been in a relationship, be it a friendship or a family connection, where the freedom to be yourself, to grow spiritually, and to seek closeness to Allah was more pronounced than in any other relationship? This sense of liberty is a sign from Allah that this relationship is meant to remain in your life. Allah often places people who help you grow in faith and character. It is through these individuals that you are able to nurture your connection with Allah. When you are with them, your devotion to your faith is strengthened. Your commitment to prayer becomes more sincere, and your acts of worship are elevated. If you were to move on from this relationship, you might lose the very connection that is helping you become a better person, a person closer to Allah. This freedom in the relationship, the ability to speak openly about your faith, to encourage each other to grow spiritually, and to be a source of comfort and wisdom, cannot easily be found elsewhere. In times of difficulty, we may be tempted to distance ourselves from the people who bring us this sense of liberty. Life's challenges can cloud our judgment, making us think that letting go of these individuals will ease our burdens. Yet, in doing so, we might be forsaking a blessing. The Quran reminds us that, indeed, Allah is the best of planners. Quran 3:54. It is through the challenges we face within relationships that Allah refines our character. The very people who might seem to be a burden at times are the ones who bring out the best in us. They push us to examine our hearts, to confront our flaws, and to strive to be better in our worship and actions. These relationships challenge us to grow spiritually, even when it feels uncomfortable. If you feel that this liberty, this space to grow in your faith and relationship with Allah, is being threatened, it is important to pause and reflect. Is the challenge in the relationship one that will lead to your growth, or is it one that will pull you away from the path Allah has set for you? This is where patience comes into play. Allah tests us through the relationships He places in our lives, and we must trust that His wisdom will guide us through these tests. When we are faced with a choice, whether to stay or move on, the key is to reflect on the growth we experience in the relationship. If it is a relationship that nurtures your faith and strengthens your connection to Allah, then it is worth preserving, even if it requires patience and understanding. Consider the people who help you grow spiritually. Perhaps they remind you of the importance of prayer, encourage you to seek knowledge, or inspire you to serve others. These people are a blessing, a sign from Allah that He is helping you to strengthen your faith. If you were to walk away from them, you might lose the opportunity to learn from them, to be inspired by their example, and to grow closer to Allah through their companionship. Reflect on these relationships with a clear heart and mind. What role are these individuals playing in your life? Are they helping you become the person Allah has destined you to be? The challenge of relationships often lies in understanding whether they are helping or hindering our spiritual growth. In times of difficulty, we must ask ourselves, is this relationship helping me grow closer to Allah, or is it pulling me away from my purpose? If it is the former, then it is a relationship worth holding on to, despite the challenges. Allah does not bring people into our lives randomly. Every individual who enters your life carries a lesson, a blessing, or a test that will lead you closer to the person you are meant to be. Never underestimate the impact of the people Allah places around you, for they are often the key to unlocking blessings and opportunities for growth that you may not have anticipated. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we find ourselves unable to let go of certain people. They occupy our thoughts, and no matter how hard we try to distance ourselves, they remain in our hearts and minds. This constant presence is not by accident. It is a sign from Allah that these individuals are meant to remain in our lives. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows what is best for us, and He places certain people in our lives for a reason, even if we cannot immediately understand why. These individuals are not just passing through our lives, they are here to stay, for they carry a purpose that Allah has set for them. The fact that you cannot stop thinking about them is not a coincidence. It is Allah's way of showing you that this relationship is far from over. When you find yourself constantly reflecting on someone, even when you wish to move on, it could be that Allah is guiding you to stay. He may be teaching you patience, humility, or the ability to forgive. It is in these moments of reflection that you must turn to Allah for clarity and understanding. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whosoever Allah wants good for, He subjects him to a trial." Bukhari. In other words, the people Allah places in our lives, even those who challenge us, are often there to help refine our character and bring us closer to Allah. You might ask, why does this happen? Why does Allah allow certain people to remain in your life, even when the relationship feels strained or burdensome? The answer lies in Allah's divine plan. He knows that these people will help you grow, either spiritually or emotionally. Even when you think it is time to move on, Allah continues to bring that person to your mind, because there is something He wants you to learn, something you may not yet see. Allah's plans are always better than ours, and sometimes we need time to understand the wisdom behind them. When Allah places someone in your thoughts in this way, it is a reminder to examine your heart. What role does this person play in your life? Are they helping you grow in faith? Are they pushing you to be a better person, to serve Allah more sincerely? These are important questions to reflect on. Allah often brings people into our lives to help us grow. And even when the relationship feels difficult, there is a lesson to be learned. Sometimes we are being tested to see whether we can rise above our own emotions and be patient with those who are challenging us. It is in this patience that we find true growth and strength. In these moments, it's important to remember that your feelings are not the final word. Allah's guidance is the ultimate source of truth. If Allah does not want you to move on from someone, He will keep them in your thoughts, guiding you to reflect on the purpose they serve in your life. These constant thoughts are a reminder that Allah is using them to teach you something, whether it is patience, humility, or the importance of forgiveness. The relationship might not be easy, but the lesson is invaluable. Another key point is that when someone occupies your thoughts in this way, it is often because Allah has a plan for both of you. It is not always about what you can gain from the relationship. Sometimes it is about what you can offer. Perhaps Allah is using you to help that person, to guide them, or to provide them with the support they need in their journey. The relationships we have are not always one-sided. They are often a means for both individuals to grow and learn from each other. The signs from Allah are not always clear at first, but they become more apparent as you reflect on the relationship. When you cannot stop thinking about someone, it is Allah's way of telling you that there is more to this relationship than meets the eye. You may not fully understand the purpose of this connection right now, but if Allah continues to bring them to your mind, trust that He has a reason for it. Stay patient, seek clarity through prayer, and trust that Allah's plan for you will unfold in due time. In these moments of uncertainty, it is crucial to hold on to the belief that Allah knows best. If He wants you to remain in this relationship, He will make it clear. The constant thoughts about this person are not random. They are a reminder that Allah has placed them in your life for a purpose. Even when it seems difficult, trust that this relationship is part of your divine journey, and there is a lesson in it that you will come to understand in time. Keep your faith in Allah's plan, for He is the best of planners, and His wisdom surpasses all that we can comprehend. Allah speaks to us in many ways, and one of the most profound ways He communicates with us is through the people He places in our lives. When Allah doesn't want us to let go of someone, He doesn't just leave us to figure things out on our own. He provides signs, subtle clues that guide our hearts, helping us understand what His will is. Sometimes, we're so caught up in our own emotions and desires that we can't see these signs clearly. We may want to leave someone behind because of personal struggles or external pressures, but Allah's signs will remind us that there's something more at play here, something greater than what we can understand in the moment. When we think of signs from Allah, we often think of clear, unmistakable messages. However, Allah's guidance often comes in more subtle forms, through our thoughts, through our feelings, through the things that keep coming back to our minds. Have you ever experienced a situation where no matter how much you try to move on, the person or situation keeps coming back to your thoughts? Perhaps they linger in your mind, even when you try to push them away. These persistent thoughts are not random. They are divine signs telling you to pause, reflect, and consider whether you are meant to stay in this relationship. Sometimes, Allah places a person in your thoughts repeatedly, because He wants you to realize that this connection is important. Perhaps the relationship has not been easy, and you may have felt like walking away. But the thoughts about that person persist, and this is a sign from Allah that the relationship is not over yet. This constant reflection might be Allah's way of guiding you to patience, understanding, and forgiveness. Allah knows that the growth you need may come from working through the difficulties you face in that relationship, and He is prompting you to stay and find the lessons that lie within. In the Quran, Allah reminds us that His knowledge of us surpasses all our understanding, and Allah is the best of planners. Quran 3:54. When we want to make a decision, we often do so based on our own limited perspective. We think we know what's best for us, but Allah, who is all-knowing, sees things from a higher vantage point. He knows our hearts, our potential, and the path we need to walk. If Allah keeps bringing someone to your thoughts, it's because He sees something in that relationship that you might not see yet. It's because He knows what that person is meant to bring into your life, whether it's growth, patience, or an opportunity for you to become a better person. The signs Allah sends can manifest in many ways. Sometimes it might be through moments of peace when you think about the person. Perhaps there's a sense of calm that settles in your heart when you think about staying, or a sense of unease when you think about leaving. These emotional responses are signs of Allah's guidance. Other times, the sign might come through your actions. You might feel a sudden urge to reconnect, to reach out, or to give a little more of yourself to the relationship. This could be Allah's way of showing you that the relationship is not finished, that there is still something you need to learn or offer. The Prophet Muhammad was known for his wisdom in navigating relationships. He understood the importance of patience, humility, and understanding when dealing with others. He faced challenges in his own relationships, whether with friends, family, or companions, and he used these challenges as opportunities to grow spiritually and emotionally. Just as Allah used the people in the Prophet's life to help him fulfill his mission, Allah uses the people in our lives to help us fulfill our purpose. The Prophet also reminded us that our relationships, even the challenging ones, are meant to be a source of growth. The strong person is not the one who is able to overpower others, but the one who controls themselves when they are angry. Bukhari. This hadith teaches us that true strength comes from our ability to remain patient and steadfast, especially in relationships that test us. When Allah sends us signs to stay in a relationship, it's not about ignoring our own feelings or compromising our principles. It's about recognizing that the person in our life might be a source of growth for us. Sometimes, we need to grow beyond our initial reactions, to look deeper and see the potential that exists in the relationship. If Allah is showing us through signs that this person is meant to be in our life, we must trust that He is guiding us toward something greater. The relationship might not be easy, but Allah knows what's best for us. He will use the relationship to help us develop patience, understanding, and love. The key to understanding Allah's signs is to remain open to His guidance. When you feel conflicted, unsure whether to continue or move on, take a step back and seek Allah's wisdom. Ask Him for clarity, and trust that He will provide it. His guidance might not always come in the way you expect, but it will come. It might come through your emotions, your thoughts, or even through the actions of the person in your life. Learn to trust in Allah's timing and in His plan for you. He does not give us challenges that we cannot overcome, and He will never place someone in our lives without a purpose. In these moments of uncertainty, turn to prayer. Seek Allah's guidance through your du'as, and trust that He will show you the way. Remember that Allah knows your heart and your needs better than anyone else. If He is sending you signs to stay in a relationship, then it is because there is something important for you to learn. It might not be immediately clear, but with time, you will understand the lesson. Allah is always guiding us toward what is best for us, even if we cannot see it in the moment. As you reflect on the relationships in your life, remember that they are not just random occurrences. Each person Allah places in your life has a role to play in your journey. Trust in His plan and remain patient. When you feel conflicted about whether to stay or let go, seek Allah's guidance through prayer, reflection, and trust in His wisdom. The signs He sends are not always obvious, but they are there. Learn to recognize them and let them guide you toward the path that Allah has set for you. If you have found this reflection helpful, remember to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content on how to navigate life's challenges through faith and trust in Allah's plan. Stay patient, stay strong, and trust that Allah is always with you, guiding you every step of the way. May Allah bless you with wisdom and clarity in all your relationships.